I hope everybody's having a great week. I know I am. What's going on, Gabe? Good morning. I don't know if you noticed, but I did email you that stuff over, so you should have it in your email now. And I saw your mock-ups, which were pretty dope. So you're on the right track, for sure. Yeah, no problem. So sorry it took so long. My weeks have just been crazy. This month has just been insane. No, you got 3 sheets there, so it should be 9 times 3, so 27 characters that you got there that you can tinker with. So you got a ton. You got a lot to play with there. Yeah, today's gonna be a good day. Yeah, today's definitely gonna be like a let's kick some tail day. I put in this password and I don't like it. I'm gonna change that password. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the spawn character going here. Bring this up a little bit. I'm trying out my tablet that I won, so it's gonna be kind of cool to see what happens. Gunslinger spawn. Gun. So Gabe, how are you doing? What you up to? What does GPS mean? Was this at that Italian thing that you wanted? I don't know what that means, Gabe. I'm sorry. Oh, so last December, um, if you guys remember, I was doing a talent show with my work. They this is where I decided to do a talent that I hate talent shows, but I did it anyway. And so I went to the event because I wanted to go ahead and see some people that I haven't seen in a while. But not only did I place in the talent show, but I also they were giving away like a whole bunch of things. It was like to celebrate their employees. So they were giving away like tablets and computers and all these little different things. So I was lucky enough to win a tablet. I mean, it's not like a huge tablet or anything like that. It's a Lenovo Android tablet, but I mean it helps. I mean, it does the job when I'm working. So I'm pretty happy about that. Screen. Oops. Why is that not typing? Yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking it at all. I'm very happy. I'm very pleased. I've just been having it sitting here for a while and not I haven't used it. I'm gonna have to change that password because that password's gonna be a pain in the butt. So I'm happy with that. What's up, Wolverine? Might have to make that happen, my friend. What in the hell? That's weird. Okay, well, that's not what I want to have happen, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Oh, I'm an April baby. So I am an Aries through and through. I know what I'm going to do. I'll flip flop these. I'll have this playing my music, and then the other one will. We'll do this. I'll play music on this one, and just gotta go grab the stand for it so it doesn't fall. I'm April the 4th, so I celebrate. My day is on the same day that Martin Luther King passed away, unfortunately. So I will never ever forget that. April the 4th, very famous day. All right, so put that up there like so. What's up, Pippin? Welcome to the stream. Oh, I'm definitely let me do one thing, guys, because this is gonna annoy me. I don't like lock screens; they're a bit of a pain in the ass. And they're more of a pain in the butt when you're trying to do stuff, and every 30 seconds it decides it wants a timeout. So we're gonna have to fix this problem. So we got to do that before we get going. You know what? Spawn is actually a very liked character. Um, and if you can draw him well, that's even better. I'm tired of this. I'm already just worn out because of this. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people really enjoy this guy, so I'm happy to draw him. Let me see. Let me think here. I mean, realistically, I would say yes. Um, he's probably well. No, let me take that back. Probably as of right now, Invincible would probably be the most enjoyed character out of all of them. Yeah, he's sitting up there because Invincible's in the zeitgeist, right? So everybody loves Invincible right now. Even people that aren't even into comics know who Invincible is. Um, you know what? Let's do the face. That'll make my life way easier. Wow. Sorry. Yeah, we gotta change the password on my tablet because I don't like it. It's very annoying. I love technology, but when it slows you down, there's no point in having it. Oh, oops, that did not work. Yeah, I have. So I was doing this class, and I had to send out the announcement for what we're doing this week, and the we're doing character. Um, we're doing logos. Yeah, I mean, it gets better, honestly, with that book. I don't know if Spawn is filming or not. I mean, if it is, good for him. I will say this much: it's about damn time because I've wanted to see this for quite a while. Me and my daughter have some words for you. As many of y'all know, this peanut has been getting the most hate. So I'm gonna teach y'all what y'all missed out on. Y'all have to respect. Yeah, it's a much better book as you go along. I will say that like Gunslinger, as you get probably like around like book 10, it gets really fun. But the if anything, the artwork is a banger. Oh, whoops, sorry. Let me turn that a little bit there. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I just gotta get a reference over here. It's not good when you can't find good music. Let's try. So, Gabe, I know you're always asking about like tools. So I actually went shopping, and like for me, toys are like, getting new supplies, right? So I went to Blick Supplies or Blick.com and ordered up a whole bunch of new like markers and all that kind of fun stuff. And this one that I'm using is actually a 003. I didn't even know they went down this low, but I'm super happy with it. It's a dope looking pen. I like going in small, especially on the faces. So this is very important that I got this one. Super happy with it. Um, yeah, 003. Just trying to get some of these areas cleaned up. The eyes are the hardest part for me because if you don't get them right, you can really mess up your artwork. So for me, getting that right is like key. I've actually done drawings where the people's eyes look like they're going a different direction. I hate that. It drives me nuts. So I know we were talking about like the image characters, right? Um, yeah. So the only reason I buy singles is because I'm replacing ones that I already have. I'll buy in bulk the ones that I usually will that I'll use on a regular basis. So, for example, some of my biggest ones that I use are going to be like 1, 3, and 5, like a 0, 1, a 0, 3, and a 0, 5. Those are my big ones that I use. And because I don't use like the 8 that I have that often, that I have from a couple other sets. I'll just throw that in there every so often. But next, I have another spawn after this one I got to do. Yeah, the next spawn I have to do is actually Spawn and Conan mix. And I don't know what in the world I'm going to do there. I use two different types of pens. One, I have a big brush, like I have a really huge. I don't think it's Micron. It's a different company. I think it might be Faber Castell, but it literally looks like a big chunky marker, but it's got a brush on the end. But the one I was using last time was a chisel tip, and that is it's just a number 2. And that will solve the problem. Yep. Yeah, that thing is perfect. It does the job for what I needed to do. So when I'm doing like big areas, that's what I typically will use. Yeah, trying to get something on here that you can like listen to is just a pain in the ass. All right, let's try that again. All right, let's get that off of there. Yeah, I mean, Copics, like, so you can get like all the Copics that you get now. There's 3 different types of Copics that they sell, right? Actually, more than that. Let me take it back. There's more than that. I think there's like 4 or 5. So the most common is the Chow Copic, which looks like this. Now the Chow is going to be thinner, so it's easier to take around. So like I showed you before, you get the brush tip, which is amazing, and then on the back end you get the chisel tip. Now they have just a straight chisel tipped Copic, and it's flat, so it's wide and flat, so you can hold it a little bit better. I used to have one. I don't know what happened to it, but I used to have one of those, so it was really good for like architectural drawings. Then they have one that's a little bit fatter than this guy. I'm sorry, it's a little bit wider. It's slim and it's wider, and I think I have one. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, this is you. I don't use this one anymore, but I'm going to show it to you. So like this one right here is the other one, so you can kind of see like the difference between the two. So you got the Chow, and this one is called. This is the Sketch. So you got the Chow and the Sketch. I always use the Chow. I used to like these. I mean, it cost you like I think $1 more for these. I don't really think you get that much more ink out of it because it's the same kind of marker. I think it's just more the style of it. I haven't opened it up to find out for sure, but that's the one that I use. And then, of course, you want to definitely always buy those refills and buy yourself some new nibs. Never ever try to throw out your markers unless they're just like done. What's up, Pretty? How are you doing this morning? I might reset this tablet because I don't like it the way it is. It's kind of annoying me. Yeah, watercolor would be a great set to use. look, I mean, you gotta go with what your budget can handle, and I don't buy these at a large amount. So, for example, let me grab one, and I'm gonna play something in the background here too. So, hang on one second, guys. Just gotta get to the home screen of this thing. There we go. Catch up on my John Campea show. Okay, we'll play this in the background. So that way. Okay, so this right here, and let me show you the thing that you want to do. Okay, you buy a marker, right? This marker will cost you like $4, and if you buy more, you save money on it. This guy right here will cost you $5. Now, I can literally get 12 uses out of this guy right here. So think about that. $5 for this guy times 12, that's 60 bucks worth out of this $5 deal. Way better deal. Especially if you don't have a lot of control over your watercolors, it's definitely a way to go. I really do think watercolors are cool because depending on how good you layer them, they can be like exceptional. Good morning, Kay. Yeah, everybody's a little different. I mean, I've just had a hard time doing Copics. I'm sorry, not Copics, but watercolor. Thank you so much. Yeah, watercolor is hard for me. And it's only hard because I haven't sat down long enough to really learn how to do it. Once I do that, it's game on. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna, once I get this guy done, I can't wait to jump on the next one. I actually have two things I have to do. So, Josa ordered in 2 cards and a spawn cover. So, the spawn cover is going to be the more challenging one because that's going to require coming up with a very unique design. It's Conan mixed with Spawn. So, there are things that I have to make sure that are in there. So, you got to make sure the sword is in there. And you got to make sure that he's got the hair. That's the big thing. Comic was watercolor. I guess it's also expensive. Managing many color pens and refills. Yeah, I mean it can be. And again, it's all about how your tools work best for you. And for me, because I've kind of built a process in place, I don't have to refill them that often. I'll refill them like probably as I'm going along. And I don't have a problem with that. Okay, so that's running. That's 2 seconds. Where am I? Oh shoot, I gotta send that out today. So I will definitely do that. All right, so here we go. Yeah, that is well. I mean that can be said, with combinations of different mediums too. Um, the only thing is that just like any medium that you use, you have to gain control over that medium. That's the only hiccup. I just haven't, like I said, I have not gotten to that level. I honestly, there's a lady that I follow right now. I think she's doing a book, but every so often she'll pop up on my Instagram and she's got these beautiful watercolor pages that I'm like, man, I would love to do a book like that. But again, it's all about learning the medium. I mean, just imagine like if I was able to learn how to mix Copics and watercolor and colored pencil, get all of those mediums together, have a true mixed medium piece of artwork. Oh my goodness, it would be insane. Okay. I'm just looking forward to my when I get the chance to do my book. That's the big thing because I've been kind of toying with the fact of do I want to do a book that has mixed media or do I want to do it digitally? Now, of course, the fact of deciding to do it with mixed media, we open up the door for um, a lot more work. You know, the mixed media is going to take a lot of time. So, in that respect, what I was thinking is maybe if I can figure out how to create brushes to mimic my coloring style, that would be cool. I'm looking for more of like a not comedy, a more comic book based style. I want it to look like an old school '90s book. That's the flair I'm going for my graphic novel that I started. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this guy named Kenneth Rockford, but he does a style where he does mixed media, and it works well with the designs that he pulls off. And I want to kind of do something similar to that. Okay. Oh, really? Huh. I'll have to take a look at that. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just making brushes that will work for me. And I'm gonna have to do some tests. I have to make sure it's something I want to do. I've also even considered doing like a black and white version of my book too, because I think that's kind of cool. Again, my thing is that you really can't, you know, judge an artist unless you see their stuff raw. That's one of the reasons why old school comics really looked really good because you got to see all the little process pieces inside of their work. I like seeing the textury bits, like the dot matrix printer style of color. And I really do like seeing the raw parts of what people can do. They don't show that anymore. They don't do work like that anymore because everything is all prettied up by digital work. And I'm not poo pooing on people's digital art. I think you use what you can to create things as quickly as you can. However, I want to for my work because I have control over that. I want to have something that fits my style. I don't want my stuff to look like everybody else's. I absolutely do not.
see it happening. It will be the biggest film. Anyway, Rob, two interesting things brought up here. Disney doesn't believe that everything is hinging on Doomsday. Like, even if it falls on its face.
Gumroad Road website. I'll have to take a look at this.
Other studios are also believing it will be the biggest film of the year. What do you make of those two statements?
Well, the lowest grossing Avengers movie was 1.4 billion. That was Age of Ultron. And the first Avengers movie grossed more than that. Then Infinity War and Endgame. Endgame almost grossed 1 billion.
Getting close.
And I would say that in terms of where the MCU is, we act like this finite juggernaut was always.
Yes. The one thing that I realize is I want to have something that stands out, and story and design really stand out. So for, I don't know how much you guys are into comics, but back in the day, you had I think it was called Elf Quest, and then they also had like Battle Chasers. I want stuff like that.
So Marvel's been in a bit of a slump because when they started to have to produce TV shows and all of that, quality, they were spread a little.
It diluted the brand. It really did.
But now, if you look at what we see, you've got Thunderbolts.
Gotcha. Yeah, I usually, like, if I'm looking for poses, I'll go over to Pinterest instead. But that makes sense.
And then Wonder Man was wonderful.
So surprising.
It was so much fun. And then, I heard David.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing that book in a comic book store. I still have the first one that I got to this day, and I'm like, damn, this is so cool. I feel like I'm looking at a cartoon in a comic book. It's really cool. It's very unique. And I think one of the characters I remember seeing, he was a centaur. I think that's what they call him, but he was half horse. Like, he had a horse head. And actually, he had the body of a man, but a horse head, and he had a horse body.
That's the last thing that leads into Doomsday. And I can tell you, dude, like I've said, Doomsday is a Tony Montana-sized mountain of cocaine that every viewer is going to stick their face in, lift their face up, and that's what it's going to do. They have designed it to do that, and it's based on the Hickman, and then the Secret Wars, and the lead up to all that. And you read that, and it's like, if I was a little kid, knowing what I know, if I was a little kid, I would say that.
How do I know when the micron is about to go dry? So when you're using it, you're literally like, the weight of the line. So I know that this line is going to be like this thick. As soon as you start drawing, and then the line starts getting smaller, and you start getting skips in it, you already know that the marker's going to be dead very soon. You can shake it, and there's a sponge on the inside, just like any marker. You can shake it. You can let it let it sit standing up, and that will help it. But you'll get a lot of usage out of a micron before it really dies. It just takes time, but that's how you'll know.
Like, when you know things that happen in it, I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be the best one, but I think it's going to be the most rewatchable one.
Yeah, I mean, to take the drug analogy further, I think Avengers Doomsday is like being at a great club in Ibiza, and you have your favorite DJ.
What's going on, Charm?
Music right as the sun is coming up over the island, and that's just
Yeah, I will use a micron until that thing dies. Like, I don't like buying supplies if I don't have to. Like, I'm not one of these people that has like an endless supply of just like supplies. I buy what I need to accomplish my jobs, and when I need to replenish, I'll do that. Like, I haven't bought Copic markers in probably like 3 years, because I won't put the money into it. It's just not going to be something I want to do. And I had no need to. But now it's like I have such a demand on what I want to do, be that doing this card set and also creating, some cool covers for people. I have to have more of the colors that I need. And those colors will last me for another couple of years.
Oh, I don't even think that comes close to it. Really? Yeah, I might see it 4 times in the first 4 days.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool, but I'm okay with taking my stock with me back and forth. You know, I'm gonna convince my school to get me some, you know, ones that my students can use, because as I do story creation, I want my students to be able to use practical tools. I was mentioning this before. So right now we're doing logo design in one of my classes, and I told the in my instructions for the particular part we're doing, because it's all iteration. The students have to go old school. They have to go pen and paper. I said I do not want to see any digital work, because everybody's so comfortable in that medium, especially people that are more, you know, much younger than me. They prefer having a tablet to assist. But I kind of made it really simple for one of my students. I said, here's the deal. If you're doing a logo, and you can push this forward to, like, even if you're creating a comic book character, okay? So let's just say, for example, you are just doing concepts, like a bunch of different concepts, a bunch of different um, poses and all that kind of good stuff. Now, you might have 4 or 5 of those, maybe 6 of them on one page, right? You might only use one, if not none. But now you have 6 poses in your catalog that you can always go back to. And it's much more likely that you are going to open up your drawing pad than go back to something that you have on your tablet or on your computer. Because it's one of those weird things, like out of sight, out of mind. And people will definitely do that. And there's something to be about tangibility. So you learn more when you are physically doing something. When you have to put in effort, your mind and your body remember what you did. That's why we practice, like in sports. You can't watch film and expect to be able to do things in sports. It's not going to work. You have to apply effort and action. And with drawing, it's the same way. Um, if you draw on a tablet, it's not going to stick, because it's very easy for your mind to be like, oh, let me go ahead and erase like that. But you can see the little bits and all that kind of good stuff, you know? Thank you so much, Kay. Good morning, Lynn. How are you doing this morning? Always good to see you. But doing old school methods is important. I mean, the studies even show it when we're doing, like, you know, problems and math and stuff like that. Even when people can do things in their head, it's not the same as giving you the connection when you're, you know, physically doing it. So yeah, you might be doing it on a tablet, you might be doing it on a computer, but there's distractions that can happen, because somebody might, you know, send you a message and you're like, oh, I got to go ahead and answer that. You know, when you have a pen and paper, you don't have distractions. You literally have to focus on what you're doing, and you have to learn control and all these little things. So that's why I tell people, you know, pen and paper, get it out, do it the hard way. Because I like going back to refer to my stuff. I like seeing things and techniques that I might have practiced before. Yeah, this is starting to look really good.
Some people are comparing this a lot to what they just did with Stranger Things, but of course, with Stranger Things, that was with the finale. Is they're kicking off the episodes, they're kicking off the new season with it. 2 things I wish they were doing different.
Thank you. I'm doing quite well this morning. I feel like I'm in a good spot. I went and hit the gym early this morning, and now I'm back here with you guys. And then tonight we're doing a lab day, so my students don't get any lectures. They're just answering questions, so it's kind of an easier day. So I'm playing catch up on my grading tonight, and answering whatever questions, you know, from any of my students that just don't feel like talking during class. It's going to be really good for them.
I would like to see him do it like the first 3 episodes, but that's fine. But again, you know, we were talking about this before Rob got here today, Jonathan. And Jonathan brought up, it's like, you know, it's like at some point in the last few months, like when they started.
Look, I'm a dedicated person. I'm very regimented in the things that I do. So when I get into it, I'm ready to rock. You know, it's how you set your day up, right? So if you set your day up for success and you give yourself little wins throughout the day, you're gonna have a very successful day, and you'll feel like you're accomplished. That being said, there is time for like chill as well. So I do put that in the mix.
Maybe everybody was right all along, and there's a lot for us to gain here from the theatrical side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very competitive. I like being busy, but I've noticed as I've gotten older, I have to learn how to pace myself. That's a must.
Because the theatrical community has been raising a lot of concerns. Even the folks at Cinema
You know, this month has really kind of pushed me because I've had literally 3 weekends in a row, or no, 3 out of the 4 weekends in February that I have been busy. So like this weekend is my last weekend of February where I'm going to be doing stuff.
So something like this might actually just be on top of
And I'm not complaining because I prefer to be busy than not. Like this weekend we're doing a what we call Fam Jam, so it's a Black History Month focused event. So they brought out 13 artists, and I'm one of the lucky 13 to come out there and showcase their artwork. So I'm going to do that today and get all my stuff ready for the event. Sorry, not today, tomorrow. I have one huge piece that I'm trying to get ready. One of my string art pieces ready for the show. It'll take me about 3 or 4 hours to wrap it up, but when it's done, it's going to look beautiful.
Really? Yeah, because they're saying this is what they do. Yeah, they're saying that screenings will take place US and Canada, Japan, North America. American screenings will start at 6 p.m. local time. Tickets go on sale. You can bring it up here, Jonathan. Tickets go on sale February this tomorrow. Tickets will go on sale tomorrow at 11 p.m. It doesn't say anything about ticket vouchers. I guess we'll know for sure.
I wish I was that good. I mean, I really do. I wish I could say I was that good. I feel like I've been a little off my game, so I got to refocus. Trying to see where because I have whites and stuff like that in here. I got to make sure I put in place. And then I got to go and get this belt and start knocking that down. All right, let's get. What do I want to hit up next? Let's go for this other skull here. Yeah, my thing is none of my skulls look the same. That's the cool part. Like I really want them to be unique. Yeah, this is going to be a dope piece. Yeah, this one's a little bit overdue. I really wanted to do something really good for the person that ordered this because I need everything to be consistent. I don't want to do half the quality. Next week I have I'm doing a Planet Hulk and I'm doing a Transformers piece next week. And the Transformers piece, because I've had this guy waiting for so long, I'm going to hook him up and I'm going to actually do a connecting 2-cover set.
About a year or two ago, AMC Theaters, under the direction of their Einstein.
Yes, I do have a Facebook. It should be underneath my name. So Marcus Grant. So Marcus. And then Grant like the general. So I'm on there.
That's what people want. And AMC, the idiot brigade, they led the way by they announced they were going to, like, depending on where you picked your seat, you're going to have to pay more money. That went over like a lead balloon. And
yeah, the YouTube is honestly, I interact on Facebook only because it's tied into my my Instagram. So everything that I post will pop up there.
Fast forward now to today, and it looks like on their service that they're going to try it again. In a way, as The Rock is running the headline, AMC theaters to reserve the best seats for the premium loyalty program members. It writes this: if you're a member of AMC's paid subscription loyalty programs, and there are a couple, you'll soon get another perk: the opportunity to reserve the best.
Yeah, I would definitely, if you have any questions, yeah, I can answer you through any of those social medias. That's definitely the way.
Admiral Adam Merritt said that later this year, AMC will add a new perk for the A-list and Premier Stubs members, as they will get priority.
Yeah, not everybody, I know that there's certain people that don't really jump on Instagram and they don't do TikTok and all that stuff.
And will join other perks for premium.
I'll be honest with you, I would not use Facebook now if I didn't realize that there were other people that really still like that platform. It is a much simpler platform and it's got its intended users. Like any of my my friends and whatnot, they're on there. Less of them want to be on Instagram because they just don't like the noise.
My first reaction reading this was, oh my God, here we go again. But I'm not so sure I dislike this. Look, hear me out. I'm not saying this is a great idea. I'm not necessarily saying
Trying to design a kind of organic tech effect for a character. No. I would have loved to have that. To answer your question, so remember, like, rendering is like you're getting to the final stages of your design. If you are trying to go like more of like an old school, like techie, you want to make your lines crisp. That's the biggest thing about making that tech stuff work. Even if you're going organic, your lines need to run very smooth. You can't have like janky lines at all. It has to be like super clean. Um, like even my lines that I'm doing here, they have to be clean. Like they have to be consistent. So I would say if you're going to look at some work, take a look at Michael Turner's Witchblade. When he did it, that would be a good reference to use for that.
I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. And the other potential upside to it is that
Also, you know what? You could also take a look at the Guyver. That might be helpful too, because that's in that realm as well.
maybe becomes another little incentive to actually get A-list. Which, if A-list was a rip-off program, I would be complaining that they're trying to hurdle people or funnel people into this pay. But it's actually a really great program that I hope saves an ass ton of money every month. So look,
Yeah, I think what you have in mind is cool, but you're going to have to do some tests to see what works for the design that you're looking to do.
feels too much like this.
I don't think this is going to be like a one and done kind of thing. It's going to take you some time to kind of figure out where this is going to go.
I don't know that it'll catch on. I really don't. I would be surprised if in 3 months we hear that they're canceling this. And what happens? Do they hold those premium seats right up to 5 minutes before showtime? And no A-list, like when do they become available to everybody else? Yeah, exactly. If I'm an A-list member,
Yeah, I think you're on a good path. I think
1 week in advance.
just finding a good design that works,
I gotta say,
but definitely look into those references.
I always give credit where it's due. And this might not be that bad of an idea, at least to what it looks like.
I would be happy to take a look at it once you kind of figure out the path that you want to go, you want to use. And you know, one thing I'm willing to do if you're up for it is if you want to like do like send it on over and we can kind of like throw ideas together. I can give you my feedback on it and you can just take it for what you want and do your thing. I'm not wanting to take any credit or anything like that. I just, you know, I would just want to help you, you know, move your design a little further the way that you want. And I think having another set of eyes on it doesn't hurt. So if you decide that you want to do that, let me send something over to me. You can send it via the chat or whatnot, and yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that. I mean, case in point, like the other, like probably like, let's say a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Kay was on here and she was she was on her stream and she was doing a cover for who was it? Some land shark. I can't remember what his name was, but she was doing that and I sent it over to her. Let me see if I find it here. See if she, yeah, here it is. So she was doing Jeff the Land Shark. So she started off with like, this is where she started because her thought process was she wanted to do like a riff on the old school Jaws cover. That's where she wanted it. So she got this cover. She's like, I want to have the squirrel girl on top of a floaty, and I want the shark to come up on it. Well, when I was coming up with this, like I saw her vision, like I knew where she wanted to go with it, and I said, okay, well, this angle works well for this time period. It's perfect. But with her style has a lot more energy and it really pops better when she's able to have things on an angle and things are moving. So we ended up doing something where her shark was, you got to see more of the shark and he was kind of angled up. And she did the girl and she was actually flipped around. So she's actually on this side. So let me see if I can find her instead. I'll show you what she ended up with. I don't know who that is. Where is she? Let me see if I can find her on here. I know she's on here. I just gotta find her. Well, I don't see her on here. I know I've messaged her, so I know I can find her that way too. Well, oh, there she is. She's got a very different label. Okay, so this is what she ended up with. Oh man, she didn't post it on here. Oh damn, that sucks. It was posted. Oh, here it is, Jeff the Land Shark. Here it is. So this is her Jeff the Land Shark. So she did something like this, and then that was her original one. And then trying to find the one that she finished up on. If I can't find it, I mean, we'll have to go a different route. Well, anyway, I can't seem to find it. Anyway, what she ended up doing is we just went back and forth a little bit, and we were able to get her to the spot where she could literally just jump off. I didn't even give her like super detailed work. I just kind of helped steer the ship, so to speak. so that way she could get to where she wanted to go. And honestly, she is such a great painter that the energy was there when she, wrapped up her piece, and it was really, really good. The only thing that she said that she's rough, that she really doesn't have like super skill on, is she's not good with people. And I think that, over time, if she gives herself, a little bit of grace, I'm sure that she would be able to slay that. People are hard, so I get it. And the stuff that I usually see her work on is more like characters, and she's really good with like shapes and stuff like that. So I think that's one of the reasons why she was like having a hard time figuring out how to do the setup for that. The shark she wasn't really having a hard time with, but the angle I think was throwing her off. And once that was fixed, she killed that piece. Okay.
The legendary Jared Harris has officially joined the cast of Martin Scorsese's upcoming psychological thriller, What Happens at Night. Harris joins an already stacked cast, including Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, and Mads Mikkelsen. Based on Peter Cameron's novel, the film follows an American couple traveling to a snowy European town to adopt a baby, only to find themselves trapped in a surreal, dreamlike hotel where reality starts to slip away. Sounds a little bit like another Scorsese DiCaprio film, I know. Anyway, production has officially kicked off in Prague, and with Apple Original Films backing it, it's easily one of the most anticipated movies of 2026.
Yeah, this is going to be a really fun piece. I mean, I'm so happy about this piece. Like, there's so many elements about this. I'm just like, yes, this is going to be fun. Oh shoot! I didn't even see the stuff below. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry, Marsh. I did not see my stuff was scrolling already. So I got some advice years ago from one of my friends that I follow on Instagram. His name is Rob, and his approach to it was, your piece has, if you were to give it a adjective, what would you say would be the word for the character? And that's how I go about design. And one of the other things he told me to consider is like, if you had this character and he was sitting on a shelf, what cool pose would you turn that character into? So that's how I approach that. Mike White. Okay. Oh, let me see what got messaged to me. Hang on. Ooh. Okay, so this is the stuff that you need to start putting up on your streams. Like, that is amazing. Like, that's the kind of stuff I would love. I love the whimsical, surrealistic designs that you do. Please, 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 please start streaming that. That's what's going to really put you ahead of everybody else. What's up, Pisces? How are you doing? Yeah, I just think I think the things that stand out on here are unique designs. I would never say don't do fan art, because that's a segue into that, and it's always something good to have as a backbone. So if people are like, "Hey, can you do this?" You'd be like, "Oh yeah, I can definitely do that. Let me show you what I got." But don't take away from your work, because it'll be easier for you to kind of like tell people, be like, "Okay, yeah, I'm working on an original story, and here are my concepts. This is where I'm going." So you can put it into your stream as well. And people will be like, "Oh, hold on. Hold on. Bring that back. Let me see that." No, see, here's the thing. And you are very much like a lot of people that I talk to about, their art stuff. Okay. You are your own worst critic. That is always going to be the case. And if you always sit back, like saying, "Hey, I don't think my work is good enough," that's good, but you also have to give yourself a stopping point to be like, "Okay, well, I have to stop here, because if I keep noodling at the same thing, it's never going to move forward." It's good to be your own worst critic, because you're judging your work, but you have to ask yourself, when is good enough? And I'm going to tell you from personal experience, you just got to be like, "Okay, well, look, I have a deadline. My deadline is here." And if it's your own personal work, you have a soft deadline, and then you'll have a hard deadline. The goal is to hit your soft deadline, so that way you give yourself a little bit of cushion. But you have the hard deadline there just in case if you mess up and you need a little more space. But you don't want to ever exceed that. And that's when you have to you start realizing, okay, that's good enough. And you're good enough in your eyes might be like 80%, but other people might look at it and be like, "Man, that's like 110%. I couldn't do that kind of stuff." Oh, no worries. I mean, I appreciate, giving, my knowledge that I can, because look, if I don't put this stuff out here, I will never ever see y'all stories ever. And I want to see them. I would love to read them. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I think you should definitely, kickstart that bad boy once it's done. Set a goal and, get it out there. The Kickstarter is the best part, or some kind of social media funding. Not so much for the fact of getting money in, but it definitely opens up more people to discover what you're doing. It's building your audience. Yeah, just think about it like this. If you do your book, right? Let's just say the book is, we'll say 48 pages, right? It'll probably cost you maybe $300 to get it all printed up. And this is a colored version of all those books. To ship out all those books, you add in, say, another $10 per book. So let's say you got 30 books, right? And that'll cost you, let's do some simple math here. Let me get a piece of paper here, and we're going to do some simple math. Okay, so let's just say, for example, you spend $300 to get 30 books, right? So that's 30 books. Then you're going to spend $10 per book to strip them out. So that's $40, I believe. Let's see, no, $300. $300. Yes, $10. It's $10. So it's $10 per book plus $10 to ship it. So it's going to cost $20, right? So you're spending literally $20 to produce and ship your books, right? But if you set up your tiers in your base tiers, say like $25, and that's for a digital version. And then for $40, I get a physical version and I get a digital. Right. So you're up $20. So you're made money on that book. In addition, you are getting that out to your audience. But that way you have a finished product, which that's the biggest thing. And I will always tell anybody that does like any crowdfunding, have it finished. Don't even have it like almost done. Have it finished, because what you want to do is that as soon, and especially when it comes to doing book work, you want to literally get all those funds in, lock all those people in, and then you can then send off your work to the printer and be like, I need all my copies. You can order in all of your shipping materials. And as soon as your books come in, you verify them, you sign them, you pack everything up, you can send them out. So it's like super quick, really, really fast. What's up, Black Knight? You know, I'm only telling you this because I personally, like I said, I ran a Kickstarter. It was successful. I did well, but I did not finish the project. And I don't want anybody else to, fumble like I did. Oh, man, I'm having a great morning. Man, I'm not letting anything mess with me. Got to enjoy every day. All right, so we got that. Let me just check this belt thing here. So it's a skull. Just want to see who's got the best skull. I don't want to. That's the one I want to use. There we go. I will say I like doing covers more. Because I can do more. I can have more details. I have more space to work with. I really have to push myself a lot harder when I create a cover because I have more real estate. That's the best part. There is a cop out to it. You could just do like a headshot. That's a cop out. For me, at least for me, I feel like that's a cop out. I want you to get something like when you put it up on your wall, you're like, that shit's awesome. If you were getting, obviously, if you're getting like a Jim Lee piece or you were getting a Todd McFarlane piece, that would make sense. But honestly, if you were getting one of their pieces and they went like full out and you got everything, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's amazing. But I want people to have this when they pull it out of their collection, even if they don't look at it for like 2 years. When they pull that out, I want them to be like, wow, I forgot I even had this. This is sick. And every so often I've had this actually happen a couple times. Somebody will send me a picture and be like, hey, you remember doing this? I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe I did that. That was really cool back in the day. But I do miss doing the sketch cards. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm way behind my goal, but that's okay. I'll play catch up. I'll get there. I'm not stressing about it. I'll get there. I'm gonna take care of the ones that are coming on in and helping me out. Helping with the mission of having a successful whatnot channel. I've been very blessed in the fact that I've had a lot of people spread the word about me. So I'm definitely taking that into consideration. But I feel like if you produce good work, you really put the love and care behind it, people that are supporting you will definitely, you know, enjoy the stuff that they get.
You're on the edge of your seat because anything can go wrong. This is a lightning.
I feel like people that have been doing art for a long time
How do you turn that into
think differently.
oh yeah, but the fact that they had
They really
also wrote the script
invest their time into it.
when you first saw it.
Here versus like going to like an artist alley at a comic book show is way different because I can talk about my process and people understand where I'm coming from, and then I go ahead and I'm able to execute, and they don't like fault me crazy for taking a little bit more time to create it. And I can make mistakes, and then I can be like, hey, you know what, I didn't like what I did, so I had to redo it.
But I told him, I said,
And what it's costing you is a little bit more time, but
this story,
I make sure that if it's taking time, you're going to get something worth
because that's what
waiting
it was
for.
like a show project from there.
Yeah.
The first thing it was at the end. They didn't even say anything at the Amazon FGM presentation. The lights just came down. They showed us like 8 minutes of this, and I was practically weeping with joy. I'm like, man, they stuck this landing. They nailed this. And if you're a fan of science fiction, fantasy, if you're an imagination person, this is the stuff. This is exactly. This is why I love Star Trek. This is why I love For All Mankind. This is why I love 2001. This is going to be in 100 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're giving me
Top 5.
$1 to do something, and I've had this happen where I've had a kid that broke out their change just so they can get a piece of work from me. I'm going to make sure that you are happy with what you get. Even when I go to my free events that I do, I try to, give it a little bit of oomph. I might not go at 100% because, that's a different kind of event, but I still give you a lot of treatment.
Everybody loves Rocky. Kissed my mom. Like he's just the best. He's the best. And I think depending on how it executes, or I'm curious to see how it executes, that people are going to absolutely love Rocky, and it sounds like it works. So I think it's gonna. I mean, look, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'll reserve judgment. But I kind of think he's gonna be the next Baby Yoda. I think everybody's gonna be getting their Rocky plush toys, their Rocky, 7-inch figures or 1/6 figures, whatever. I think it's gonna be.
I have to figure out how to get this guy to turn right. Yeah, I just think you going back to you, I think you just need to get that book finished up, knock it out, and get it published. I mean, you'll see. I promise you. I mean, if you have just a basic goal of say $500, you're gonna hit that goal, especially with the audience that you have here. And if you do like a lead up for it over like 6 months, people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah." So like my book, I'm I'm literally telling people about it now, so that way I can set the expectation for it, so that when pages start getting produced, the excitement's still there. I mean, for example, I follow this guy called named Greg Capullo. He's an artist for DC Comics and for Marvel Comics and Image Comics. He actually even used to draw Spawn for a long period of time. So he's had a book that he's been working on for the last 3 years. I remember when he put out like little sketches of this third book. It's called Creech. Now he hasn't produced a copy of this book in I think almost 20 years. But the work that he put into it, I'm like, I've been waiting years to see him produce another one. And I got a chance to talk to him last year, and we were just rapping back and forth. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to get it done, but it's hard because I still have to, do the other projects that are asked of me." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm waiting for you." But he's been putting out those nuggets for years on purpose because he wants people to realize, hey, the book is still coming. So you need to do the same.
This many high-profile, big films that I'm super excited about, almost all of them coming out, and it all kicks off with Project Hail Mary. Guys, the question is for you. What do you
Yeah, I mean, having a book done in a year is good. I mean, that's realistic. You just have the main thing is if you create the story, and let me back up a little bit. So if you create the story first, like you have a finished story, then you create the thumbnails for that story,
guys think? Jump down in the comment section below.
then it will be easier for you to produce that book.
All right, guys.
The thing is if you have the thumbnails, that is going to be your lifesaver. That will slim down the production process for you, because a lot of people, and myself included, when they're creating something, they're doing it as they go along. So if you have all of the setup done, so think of it like when you used to write papers in school, right? And when you write the paper, you would do like a basic synopsis of what it was. Then you would do the outline for it, and you would use that outline to flesh out the beginning, the body, and the conclusion of your story. Well, the same thing is with your work. You're creating the story, you create the thumbnails, you use the thumbnails to create your images, and then you finalize those images in that process, in that order.
Should you do a sequel to that Mortal Kombat? And then you should.
Yeah, and but I mean that process should make things a little bit easier for you, because you if you follow that process, you can't be rushed, because you're following those steps, and doing thumbnails are quick and easy. Thumbnails don't have to be like super tight. Keep them simple.
That first trailer was pretty good. And we were like, wow, this looks fun. This looks really fun. So today they dropped a new trailer. Newest trailer.
What's up, Melanie? Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, I think there's something to be said if you don't plan properly. When the best stories that you're ever going to read or see, when they're planned out and you have a vision from the beginning to the end, you can't fail. So when you think of stories, I was telling my students about this. When you think of like The Flash, the TV show The Flash, it was great for seasons 1 and seasons 2 and part of season 3. But season 2 were its strongest 2 seasons. After that, it went like straight downhill. Um,
This looks like kind of a fun adventure sci-fi movie. This looks like
yeah, and if you think of something like This Is Us, and the reason I'm making these two comparisons, This Is Us, when it was pitched to the studio, it was a finite story. Like the writer had created a story that had a beginning, middle, and end. So he already knew. He's like, I need this many seasons to create my story. It's a winner. And because he was able to hit the emotional strings from 3 different time periods, it won, because he had kids that were from the 70s and 80s. So like kids my age, when we saw the nostalgic pieces and seeing the swing sets, seeing, the clothing and all this kind of good stuff, even the music, we were like, oh wow, I can connect with that. Right. Then you have modern age, which is like right now, and then you had slightly into the future. And those hitting on all of those little pieces, it was great. And then you had dynamic characters. The 3 kids, you had 2 of them that were twins, and then you had one that was an adopted child. Not only were they adopted, but they were an adopted black child. So that child ended up, I mean, on top of that, had a dad that had a drug problem, and that's why they couldn't keep him. So there were so many different dynamics, and it was so well planned out that that show won every year. Like it was like a banger every year. But when you don't plan out something, you're destined to fail. I think there's a saying that like you plan to succeed or you plan to fail.
Because it has taken me from at least getting interested in this movie this last movie to like, damn, I now, wow, I want to go see this. I want to go see this right now. And I think this is going to be a load of fun of a movie. And again, I was pretty enthusiastic going into the last one, and we all saw how that turned out. But anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see the trailer for this. Could have used maybe a little bit more Hiroyuki Sanada in it. But other than that, what did you think about the new Mortal Kombat trailer?
Well, it made me feel something.
Yeah, it's just I mean those are but for your particular stuff, going specifically to yours, and it for anybody that's looking to write stories, you just need to set it up properly. And these processes are not new. I mean, I'm telling people stuff that, if you go back to the how to do it, how to draw the marble way, they literally walk you through the same exact thing. When you watch documentaries on how they make movies, they go through the same exact process.
It had that, I love movies and scale. And when I say that, I mean,
I watched this Disney documentary on Frozen 2, and it's just like it reminds me of what the things I need to do in order to become successful when I'm doing creation.
Stone Cold set out to do something.
Like they know exactly where they want things to go. So they know the feeling and the charm, and the storyboards are there, and they might have to refine that, but overall the plan is all there.
It looks exactly like. But look, I don't agree that you can just, as long as I see the IP and stuff, that's fine. No, you have the IP. What you want it to do is make you feel when you're playing the game Mortal Kombat. That's the IP. And if a movie can make you feel like it feels to play Mortal Kombat, have that fun. When you hear Fatality, like the sound effect of it, what is it in the trailer?
Finish him.
Yeah. I mean, when you hear that, you're like, okay, this is get over here. Yeah, that's right. You're like, these people understood the assignment. And if you go in there and they take it seriously, and it looks like they're actually trying to, take it seriously, like it's not just a joke. And if they're approaching it, I think Masters of the Universe is going to do this too. If they're approaching the material, it's going to stay true to the original IP. They're going to deliver the goods. How much fun is this going to be?
I got a question.
Yeah, I mean, really, outlining a project is so important. I mean, like I mentioned before, when we were in grade school, all that crap that we were instructed to do when we were doing a research paper, the outline is basically a blueprint of how you're supposed to go through it. So we should literally be able to read the outline, and it gives us all of the steps of what your paper is going to look like. So if I read the outline of like a comic book story, I should know what's about to happen. The meat of it, like the details of it, will be in the story. And you could literally use the outline to break down all your pages. You can use the outline to break down all of your panels. But 100%, 100%, you definitely should take the time to do that, because you your brain can work on simple concepts. If you are trying to figure out all the minute little things as you're doing your artwork, it slows down the process. I can say that, like, when I see a kid drawing for the first time, right? If you ever ask a child to draw a picture, sometimes they will overdraw. So, like, for example, like they don't think about proportions. So they'll just draw starting at the head, they'll throw in the body, and then as they get down further and further, they run out of room. So whereas they wanted to make a character full size, like they wanted to make it from head to toe, they didn't do up any of the structure to make that happen. Right. And that's because they didn't have a process in place. And I do the outline, well, basically the structure first, even when I'm writing my stories, because in my head, I can always come up with a great story. I can come up with a great beginning for a story, and I can come up with a great end for a story. So I know exactly where it's going to start, where it's going to end. However, that outline is now going to break down the things that I need to know about the story, and that will help me flesh out what I want to do. Um, so when I teach my classes, that I teach a 4-part concept when I'm doing storytelling. So you have your introduction, which is where we get to meet the characters, and from there we go to our rising action, which basically is our setup and where things are about to go. Then we go to our climax, which is like, if you think about it more like end game, it's the big battle or the big something that's happening. It's the big culmination or the top of the hill. And then you have your falling action or resolution of the story. And that is like, okay, what happens after everything is done? So at the end of Endgame, for example, everybody goes their separate ways and things happen. It's nice and wrapped up. Same thing like if you were looking at Lord of the Rings. If we look at Lord of the Rings as a whole, like all 3 parts of it, like the whole movie series, the introduction was when we went to the Shire and we got to learn about the Shire. We got to learn about Gandalf. We got to learn about the mission that they were going to doing. And then our rising action was all the stuff that they did from leaving the Shire all the way until they ended up going to Mordor. And then the stuff that happened at Mordor was your climax. And then the falling action would be what happened afterwards. So breaking all that down for your brain, that's a lot of junk. But if you have it written down there, and if you look at the outlines are literally steps. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then within that outline, you have the little indentions, which are the sub portions of that. So again, you just definitely want to take the time to do that. And when we're students in grade school, we don't think like this. This is how I teach my students. But when we're in grade school, we don't realize the bigger picture of this. Like when we want to do things, the reason why our teachers teach us to slow down and work through some of these things is because they want us to be able to come up with really creative designs and pieces for creative writing. Like in creative writing, this is like a must. Like you cannot play around when you're doing that kind of stuff. So taking the time, make the time. Good stories do take time, and if you have a good story, the breakdown is going to definitely make it move a little bit better. Like when I was doing doing a comic with my friend, the way that he focuses on characters is different than how it would come out on pen and paper or on a comic book. So I had to break things down for him so that way he understood visually how it would work. Because you're only doing stills of pictures. It's not a TV show. So you want it to make sense. You don't want everything like looking flat. That's not how a good book works. And doing that can also help, narratively, move the story too. Yeah. You know what? That's strangely enough, you actually bring that up because I was watching that on a video the other day. they were saying like show your work, but the reason why, like even in math class, why they told you to do stuff like that is because they want to understand your process. They want to understand why you made those moves. And even when you're creating stuff, if you're trying to, say for example, you gave your work to me, right? If I have that breakdown, I can see what your brain is thinking. I can see where you're going with something. And I can now be more well informed and kind of give you better feedback to, hopefully impact your story so that way it makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, we might think of it as like ancient stuff, but honestly, all the stuff that we did back in grade school and stuff like that, all of those things are important. We just don't see the bigger picture. And I'll be honest with you, our teachers never really explained how they could be beneficial. They never put value into all the stuff that we did. I had creative writing teachers that did, but I really didn't get it until I was an adult. If somebody was to tell you, hey, look, if you're playing football, right, and you want to be a better football player, and they said, okay, well, you have to throw this football 50 times every day in the same direction, to get better. And it has to hit every time. And that will make you a better football player after 6 months. If you knew that that was going to definitely work based upon, the information that your coach told you, and it did, then you would do the work. You'd put it in. And I know that artists that I speak to that are successful, and I'm going from people that have success. We're not just talking random people. We're talking about people that have seen things actually happen. So I take a lot of stock in people that have had success before me because they've climbed the mountains that I haven't climbed yet. So I will listen to what they have to say. I will listen to it on repeat. And I will watch their concepts. I will watch their processes because that stuff got them to where they are. And I can take what I want from that and I can then mold it into what works for me. And it will make me better. It's kind of strange to think that that's how that's going to work. But like when we go back to our grade school thing, like our teachers might teach us those things, right? And when the concept that most kids will do nowadays is that they will use like a chat GPT to do all the work for them, but they don't know how to like read through that. Something that I would do is that I would write it all out myself. And if I want to shortcut it, I'll be like, hey, chat GPT or whatever AI system you want to use, be like, hey, I need you to go ahead and break this down into an outline that I can use for a story. And the outline needs to work for a book that's going to be 48 pages. And it'll break it down for you. Boom, 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 boom. However, the main thing that you got to do is you got to go back there and you have to vet it and make sure it does not take away from what you were doing. So that might take you an extra few minutes to do. But that's how you can incorporate a tool to help you instead of having the tool do all the work. So yeah, old school methods do work, and I try to get my students to utilize them as much as possible because when things break, you need to have a backup. What's up, Joseph? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have to have people use pencil and paper, and they're like, "Hey, can I use my tablet?" I'm like, "No, absolutely not." get the pen and paper, and like their brain is breaking. You can literally watch them, and they're like, what do I do? Like, it's crazy. We were doing, head turnarounds, and people were like, how do I do this? I don't understand this. But I always tell them, I mean, when I was talking to them about it, I said, if you can process simple shapes like squares, circles, rectangles, all that kind of good stuff, then you'll be able to do this. Stop trying to put in all this pretty shit while you're trying to come up with your design. You got to work small and work up. I specifically give one example to people when I'm designing, right? I give the analogy of a house, right? So if you are building a house, or if you've had a house built or you've seen a house built, they don't just start building the house and they say, "Hey, go ahead and bring in your paintings, bring in your couch." As we're building this, you go ahead and do that. No, they follow a specific process to do that. And when I'm doing my artwork, I'll start out with blue lines just so I can kind of see where everything's going, or I might even have my mock-up and then work off of that and get to my blue lines. When I say blue lines, this is like the blue line underneath here. Then I will work up from that. And then I'll get like the head in place. I'll be able to get my center lines right. I'll work out how I want things to look. I'll add on details that I might not have had before. And then we get a finished product. But I'm not trying to color this while I'm trying to get all the setup done. It just doesn't make any sense. And the same thing with writing. If you're trying to draw a story and then come up with concepts that you're going to put into it, no, like you're not doing character designs as you are, drawing the book. That doesn't make any sense. If you have your characters already designed, model sheets and all that stuff, you don't have to figure it out. It is already there. So, like, for example, like with Spawn here, well, good morning. How you doing? So with Spawn here, this is a good example. So when we look at when Spawn was created, he was a very basic version. Like, he didn't have all of these fun little things that you have on Gunslinger Spawn. It was just basic Spawn. He looked like Spider-Man with a cape. Legit, that's what it was. And he had skulls all over him. Over time, what ended up happening is that you ended up having a Spawn with this like huge boot. You eventually had Spawn with a mouth where his mask was. He had more powers, but that evolved over time. That didn't happen in the midst of them working on pages. That was, hey, we need to evolve this character because the character himself is changing. But they did that from, over a series of different books. They didn't do it in the middle of all of that stuff. And that's taken years for him to get to different points. When you look at medieval Spawn, he doesn't change until way later. When you look at Spider-Man, same thing. I mean, that took time to get Spider-Man where he is today. That didn't happen overnight. That was a long process. Like, now Spider-Man, he emotes with these little white pieces in his eye, or the black part of his eye. Oh, who created the original Spawn? Todd McFarlane. That's his character. He owns that. That is all him. Like, there's no co-creator. That is 100%, 110% his. Yeah, that character was created before he ended up in mainstream comics. Like I'm gonna see if I can show you the original one that he did. It's way different. Spawn first design. So this is what Spawn originally looked like. That was his design right there. Okay, so he's got these chunky boots, very much like the Captain America style of boots. Got more of like this mat, like a soldier style of mask. No skulls up on there's just blanks. No skull for the belt. So he is more superhero based. Yeah. So now when we push it forward, when we look at the iterations, can't spell today. Iterations. There we go. Let's see, iterations. I couldn't spell it right. Okay, so now when we look at Spawn, this gives you an idea. So this is where Spawn started. Number 9, we got like that medieval Spawn. Yeah, very much so. And he evolved. Like you can start seeing where he started to change. Like now he's got this big old thing on his leg, got more chains. Then he's more like a military style of Spawn. But this happened over time. So you can see, like in 55, he would look like this. By 63, he was going back and, you don't have a mask on him. 101, that kind of stuff. So you do not try to create as you're designing your pages. Your pages need to be done ahead of time. Yeah, I mean, even like, for example, like a character model sheet. I don't know if you guys have ever done one of these before. I used to do these, but I didn't realize what they were. Let me see if I can find one for this guy. Okay. So, I'm trying to find the professional ones, but I don't think I'm going to find them. Oh, this will actually work. So, like, this is a model sheet for. Now, this isn't the movie version. Let's see if it'll turn. So, this is a character model sheet for a Spider-Man. Spider-Man 299, right? Now, the benefit of having this model sheet, now, if it had been in black and white, we wouldn't have to talk about color. But the benefit of having this is now we know what the color palette is, right? So we know it's this specific red with these blues. So we use that. So when we're actually coloring, all we got to do is just like pull that color, put it into Photoshop. Or if we're painting or using marker, we know exactly what color we're using. So we can pull that out of our stuff and then we can just create with it. And then what we do in order to change the color on this is that we tint it based upon shadow or highlights. But all of that work is done way ahead of time. That way we keep consistent. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't do all of that work. I mean, I can tell you back in the day when I used to create books and stuff like that, when I was in high school, all I did is I was like, all right, we're going to go and have a guy jumping on a train and he's going to have like superpowers and then we're going to just go. And that's what we did. And from a kid perspective, that makes sense. But, if you're trying to do like mainstream books, you need to come with a little bit more than that. Because your designs aren't going to be consistent. You're jumping back and you're working on the fly and you don't know what your characters look like. They might have, a specific type of weapon and the weapon doesn't look the same from page to page and you don't want to do that. So if you plan all that stuff out ahead of time, and this is going back to what I was saying doing the thumbnails, then you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to guess. It's already, all that work's already been done, hashed out ahead of time. Now, the bigger benefit of that is that as you go further along, you don't even have to think about it. It's almost like riding a bike. You already know exactly what you're going to do and you just execute. Yeah, it's almost like a shorthand. Yeah, you just don't want to, you want to eliminate as much of the hard stuff as possible. So that way you can focus in on the things that you want to do. All right. We will see you later, Kay. Have yourself a good one. I'll be back tomorrow. What the hell is that? Sorry, I saw something. That was weird. I don't know what that is. What? I don't even know what that is. All right, I'll have to deal with that later. So sorry. One of my friends, she's up in Boston and she's been stuck there for an extended period of time. It's just funny. All right. Well, Mel, have yourself a very good day. If I see you tomorrow, it'd be cool. I'll be back on here, I think about 8:30 tomorrow too. So have yourself a very great and blessed day. All right, time to go ahead and knock out this other arm. This is the one that's going to take a little bit of time because I got to make sure I do this one right. Okay, so his cuff has some stuff on it. Yeah, I got to make sure that when I'm doing this, like, it has to be practical. I know it's fantastical, right? I mean, the world of Spawn is fantastic. However, if we have spikes on the inside of his arm, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I got to make sure I don't do like goofy stuff like that. Man, I got a show I have to watch that I have not watched in a bit. It's called The House of Asher. So that I have to get up on like ASAP because I know it's ended. I only made it through like the first, I think, 6 episodes, and I know I didn't forget. I just got on something else. But it's been a while since we've seen a good Spartacus series. And I'm looking forward to wrapping that one up. It's been really good so far. It definitely has got that visceral feel to it. I will say, and I'm not a person that, is not opposed to having, adult content in it, but it goes a little too far with some of that. I think it's very distracting in certain parts. So that's just my thing. I just watched another show that had something like that, and I'm like, why did you put that in there? Because I mean, I understand it was basically a college show. So you're like, oh, these people are like hypersexual and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I get that, but I don't understand why it really needs to be like highlighted on a massive scale. All right, let's get this back up and running. You know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to do this because one of my favorite movies now is F1. It literally is probably one of my favorite movies of all time now. I think I'm going to watch that. You know what? I'm just going to enter the site so I can see what's out. Zootopia, Mercy, which I do want to see Mercy. That looks good. Sinners is always good. You need to watch The Housemaid. That looks really good. Silent Hill is a good one. Yeah, I think we're just going to go to F1. Are you guys out there drawing anything at all? Hey, Gabe, when you get a sec, can you take a look and see if you found that, if you got that email from me? Oops, I don't want that. Oh, I didn't have any more people up here. Okay, well, no worries. Close that up. All right, we're going to go here. All right, so everybody hopped off for now, so no worries. I'm going to just get to work. That's what we'll do. We're just going to focus. We're going to lock in. Using this 0, 1. All right. Well, every so often I'll get times when I get like a lull in the activity, but that's okay. I'm not stressed about that. I think next week I'm going to try a couple things. I might have to see if I can get some people ready for my Pokemon. I'm going to crush some Pokemon, man. Like today, I'm going to start working on some more of the templates that can get scanned in and all that fun stuff. So that's my thing to focus on and on. You know what? I think while I got this going, I'm going to get this page set up. Okay, so we got that. Execute this as a PDF. Save. 2, 3. I'm going to export that bad boy. Alright, it's still a little quiet. We're going to skip that tour. We're going to do the file. Let's export that. Oh, there they are. Oh, there they are. Let's upload these because that is not correct. So sorry, guys. I got to send up something to my portal. It's very cold in my house right now. Canvas, and let's update some stuff. Visual communication. Change this checklist that I got up here. Okay, everybody's looking good. Edit this. I made it and then I did not upload the right one. That's why. Alright, we'll go back into this and then we'll throw some color up on that bad boy and we're good to go. And let's go on the back end of my site. On me later. All right, let's get up on here. Let's create myself a new landing page. Okay, take care of the business stuff too. All right, so I need to take a look at this. So this one's going to be. Yeah.
Come here, you son of a bitch. Oh, God. Are you thinking Baja?
Yeah. New day, new challenge.
That's exactly what I said to myself when I bought Apex GP.
Not deep in the hole, are you?
I'll tell you, but you have to promise not to laugh. Shoot. 350 million. No bluff.
Impressive. Well, been fun?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
What's the problem then?
Problem is 2 seasons and a half, 0 points. My best driver left for another team, except the car was a shit box. The team is in last place. My number 2 is a rookie. And the season's half over.
How many races left?
9. And if we don't turn it around, I lose the team.
But you own the team.
No race wins in the first 3 seasons. The board can force a sale.
Man, sounds like you need a new board.
A new driver.
You got F2, you got F3, you got an entire assembly line of kids raised on the simulator.
No, I don't have time for some kid to learn how to come in 10th. I don't.
Well, you don't just walk off the street and pilot a rocket.
Yes, you can if you've done it before. That's the whole point. Louis Chiron was 57 years old when he won the Monaco Grand Prix. Philippe Danselan, 56 years old.
These names, didn't you?
Some people look at Sonny Hayes, they see a guy
Oh, this is going to be a sweet cover.
junkie, Mr. Shot.
Wow, Ruben, you are really selling.
But I see a guy who makes teams better. I see experience. I see know-how.
You're off your meds.
My rook is a phenomenal talent. Phenomenal. But he's young. You know what he lacks? Maturity. You plus him. Boom. I got a team.
All right, say I'm the next Louis.
Jean.
Him.
Mhm.
The problem is, it's not just a driver, it's a car. I followed your season, Ruben. Shitbox is being kind.
I knew you were watching. What if I told you we get an upgrade package within 6 months in development?
Ruben.
No. Wait. I just need one of my cars across the finish line first. One.
I love you. I'm not going back.
What would he want you to do?
Join a boy band? Seriously, I'd ask him why he's smiling.
He's smiling at the possibility.
We both know how that ended.
Okay. This is a first class ticket to London. God. First class. I'm offering you an open seat in Formula One. The only place you could say for one day if you win. You are the absolute best in the world.
Hey, Ruben. Ever seen a miracle?
Oh, yeah.
Me neither. Good to see you, amigo.
All right, sweetie, here you go.
Yeah, let me ask you something. A close friend of yours made you an offer that was 100% positively too good to be true. What do?
Well, how much are we talking?
Not about the money.
What's it
So
about?
what is it about?
I want to have that all combined into one. No, I'm not going to do that. This is going to be a fun one for sure.
Tire temps look good. 85 front, 75 rear. You are good to push. Copy.
I'm looking forward to the day that I'm going to get a shot to do a comic. It's going to be so much fun.
Good for strap to. Good for left.
I know it is because I know what I'm capable of. And when it happens, it's going to be a banger.
Purple sector 1. Best one yet. Coffee.
If I get these guns right, that's the main thing. I'm building a website for this young lady, and I'm going to get this thing all set up today. Have it look all pretty.
Boxy slap, boxy slap.
And then I got to fix two problems for another couple clients.
Let's go find those gremlins.
Sorry, Joshua.
Jody, try not to kill our driver.
What's the verdict?
I don't know what's happening to me. It feels good. I start to push. Then it understeers in the slow corners and oversteers the fast.
What, on entries or exits?
Either. Both.
Great, yeah.
Oh, there's 10,000 sensors on this thing. You can't tell me what's going on.
Yeah, but I'm not out there, am I? So I'm going to need your help on this, please. Guck da ist der Papa. Winke, winke. Winke, winke.
Inga! Willkommen! Oh, willkommen.
$150 million jungle gym.
So cute. You just let her drive. Can't be any worse.
Joshua.
Hi.
Elizabeth, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter. For the press conference, we want to steer around tech issues and focus on the super strong bond with your new
I know exactly what I want to do. Okay. Welcome back, whoever jumped on. I'm not sure who was on there, but I'm going to work. I got a lot of stuff to do and a little bit of time to do it in.
Yes.
Can't wait.
All right,
I
great.
think it might be Gabe still be on there. I think so.
Yes?
Son,
Yo, you were right, bro. Ruben's in big trouble. He's on the team.
knew it. What does that mean for me?
New buyers are likely to clean house. Listen, you need to show these people who the number one driver really is, man. How? Well, you're going to lose your job. Yeah. Let that sink in.
Good. Casper, what happened this year? I swear on the lives of my children, I do not freaking know. There's only this car, and there is only our future. Who's that asshole?
All right. What's up, Nathan? Hey, am I going to see you tonight? Okay. You know it's just a lab night, right?
You raced with me back in the day? Yes. Kid McKenna, our technical director. Dutch Doda, our chief mechanic.
You going to try to get a jump on that isometric house? Because I know you did that for the other stuff.
As a real Jackman. So is my part. Can't win without. And our talented rookie, Joshua. Why has he got a helmet?
Oh, you do? What?
Safety.
Should I just wait until you come in?
Son is here for the audition.
Or you just want to give me an idea what I'm going to walk into?
Last time you won a race.
Sunday, Daytona.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Formula One.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then same as you.
Never thought I'd say this. Has anyone seen Legal Cortez?
When I interview with you,
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Whatever you want to bring to the table. Yeah, I'm down.
7.
That's a lot.
number 7.
You're 8.
This is a disaster.
Starting to feel more like a 9. Technically, there is one who I've not heard from yet.
So I am a 9.
You know how numbers work, right?
In business, my most inspired ideas come late.
Best things in life usually arrive ninth, right?
All right, so I think I got everything pretty much mapped out today.
Casper, you misunderstand. We're not auditioning him. He's auditioning us. That's your new driver. Good luck.
Oh, no worries. I was just curious. I mean, what you were going to be working on.
Any changes in floor?
Not in the 80s.
You didn't miss anything.
Wouldn't have figured out.
That's why they call me lucky number 9.
Listen, it's been a while since you've driven there, mate. Yeah, the balance on these cars are tricky, so be careful time 1 and 9. I don't want to see you get hurt.
How about we set a reasonable target? Give me the same setup as him. If I can't post a lap time within a second of JP's, and I will promptly see myself out. You're free to take a shot at lucky number 10. 10?
10.
10. Who's JP?
So I think I got everything done, ready to rock. So now it's popping in color and then detail, all that fun stuff. I think I'm just going to take a shot of this because I'm probably going to turn this guy into a print. Yeah, I might have some like minor details to it. Like I might put some line work in there, but I think for the most part, he is ready to rock.
Okay, let's see what you got.
I don't think I'm going to have a lot of people tonight, to be honest with you, Nathan.
He raced with Ruben. He raced with Schumacher. With Senna.
You're thinking about working on your personal logo? The one that you were talking to me about a couple weeks ago? Thank you.
All right, put up Joshua's sector times.
Yeah, let's come out here with a thicker pen. In fact, let me do one thing. I got to send the sample of this off.
Make it 100. You're on. Oh, shh. Sorry, this is Hugh Nickleby, your race engineer. Good morning, Hugh. How are my tire temps looking? Yeah, almost one. End of the lap. You should be good to push.
Send this off to my client so he'll know what he's getting. What's going on, Ant?
Yes, sir.
You should have taken that back.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to work with you on it if you have any questions. Yeah, I always think like having a second set of eyes to take a look at our work is always a good thing. It gives perspective. I mean, you already know that because you work in the industry, so you know how that works. Thank you. Yeah, I took a lot of time to get to this final bit, but I think we're near the finish line. So after this, it's just straight to color.
Shit. He's dead. Come on. Don't do that.
Yeah, I can understand the process. I mean, my logo I probably went through 4 or 5 versions of it before I found the one I really liked. And who knows, down the road I might change that, but it's definitely changed a lot over the years. And again, because you're in the industry, logos are definitely one of those things that are they're mutating kind of thing. Because as your business changes and as you change, you have different things that influence your design. What's up, D3? Yeah, as far as like that stuff, oh my goodness, I feel you on that. The branding stuff for me is like huge.
Yeah, all good.
So like my company colors are orange. It's like this aqua turquoise and the teal and black. Those are my 4 main colors that I use.
Yeah, she's got something.
So getting to that point just took so long, but there's certain colors that I had to pick because when you see them from afar, they actually hit.
Had trouble with the rears, turns 14, 16. And the final turn, maybe?
No, that's on me.
What was his lap time?
He passed. His entirely self-imposed pace by 500 of a second.
Well,
Yeah, again, like I said, having a second pair of eyes to take a look at your designs is always a plus.
okay, you put me on bro, we got 9 races to catch the eye of another team. And as your manager,
When you're in the thick of it, you don't really see the things that people see on the outside.
people engagement, Josh. Right, deal. All right, cool. I'm just saying, innit? You eat? I'm starving.
Nah. Go see someone though.
Yeah? Hey, take a picture, post that shit. Send it to me, I'll post that shit.
It's my mom.
Don't you dare post that shit.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Okay, baby.
Yeah, I'm just tired.
Bad tires or the engine?
Come on, mom, you don't know about the cars.
Obviously. Alright, I may not know much about cars, but I know a lot about you.
I might lose my seat if the team don't win a race. Any race.
There are the teams?
Yeah, there's 20 seats, but they're all filled. Plus, there's this new guy, and he's old.
How old?
Like, really old, like 80. He's such an asshole. He's quick, though.
Don't mind that. Focus on you. You can spend your whole life worrying about other people, but your time is right now. You still love it?
Of course, I still love it.
Then remember what your father used to say. Put your head down and drive.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely. I wanted to go ahead and show you what this thing was looking like. Yeah, your piece has been the superstar for the last 2 days. I'm doing really good. But like your piece right here, like I haven't even like hit the color yet. So when the color hits, this is gonna be even better. Holy cow, 4 a.m. your time? Where are you?
Thought your job was to build the fastest car on the planet.
My job is win.
Yeah, I'm over in Florida.
Helps to feel it.
Mysterious moves at Apex GP, who have finally announced the driver who will take their second seat. And in a bizarre twist, it's American Sonny Hayes, who hasn't raced in Formula One for over 3 decades. Son of
Oh, okay, cool.
a car mechanic, Hayes was considered something of a
Yeah, I have. You know what? The weird part is I got a lot of people that follow me from California and realize you're on that side. Yeah, I'm an early bird. You know, even when I go on the West Coast, I'm even like early.
As a New York taxi driver. But now he's back, racing for a team which has in its entire F1 history never even finished in the top 10. None of this will dampen speculation that majority shareholder Cervantes Capital are looking to sell the team, and if they do, that will likely also.
Yeah, I would have loved to.
F1 rookie Joshua Pierce.
Can we go now?
Desperate times, they say, call for
Gotcha.
measures, but I honestly cannot recall a driver signing quite as desperate as this.
So I know that you had mentioned something about the hat being tilted down, but the cool part is that when you put the blacks into here, it's going to make this pop. And I have some effects work that I didn't put in here.
You want the next shot anywhere? 9 races means 9 times you have to beat Chuck Norris.
Yeah, well, it's tilted up a little bit.
Yeah? You ready? Let's go.
That's a handsome man right there.
Yeah, I just want to give a little bit of movement to it.
Joshua, hey, it's been
I was just playing with those shapes.
No wins, car problems.
But again, like I said, I mean, you're gonna definitely get something that you're gonna love. When you see the final piece, you're gonna be like, yeah, this is gonna be tight.
Start doesn't mean you can't finish neat, right? Apex have a 5 crew engineers.
No, I appreciate you being so patient.
Teammates. I think it's really wonderful that Apex are giving second chances to the elderly.
I dumped the old one because I thought it was bad. It didn't even have this kind of like flow to it. It was pretty horrible.
Back in the UK. Been a while. I mean, last time you raced was Bill Clinton was your president, and we were all dancing the Macarena.
Well, look, I need you. I know that you appreciate good work, so I just would not.
And during that decade,
I wouldn't have a piece that just didn't hit hard.
for declaring yourself.
I was just talking to some people on here earlier, and I said, I want you to be able to go back into your stockpile of stuff and be like, wow, I forgot I had this, but this is fire.
No more questions. Thank you.
You know, I have some pieces that I've gotten from artists, and I'm like, man, I forgot I had this, but this thing is, I can't believe I ordered this, but it was well worth the wait. Yeah. I agree on that. No, I have not. I will have. Is that person on here on Whatnot? Okay, I'll definitely have to check out their art. What kind of stuff does that person do? That's the kind of artist I like seeing.
Yes, Dutch. What time was he at?
Before me.
Yeah.
I'm before you.
I mean, new character is the best, right? Because if you're doing a new character, you get to learn that character, and then you put a little more energy into it versus people that you already know.
Okay, here he comes. Apologize.
For example, like doing Deadpool, that's child's play stuff for me because it's one of the most requested characters that I do.
Just do it.
Simple stuff.
You can. You will.
Hey, man. Over there, the press conference stuff I said wasn't.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing that stuff.
So, basically what I'm trying to say is,
Yeah, I love me some Venom too.
It's all right. You're just worried I'm quicker than you. Hi, I'm Sonny.
Did you see the Venom card that I wrapped up the other day?
It's all good. I'll see you out there.
Check this. Oh, yeah, you haven't been on in a minute, so, okay, hang on. So check that out.
How are you feeling? So good. Good.
So I went old school. I went with the video game. So this is the part you didn't get a chance to see. So the other day, I was tinkering with the Pokemon because I went to a Pokemon show or a card show. So these were the 3 that I started out with, right? Now, the Pokemon that I ended up with, the ones that I finished up, are like this. So not only do you get all the stat stuff on it, but it is that holographic cover. Yeah, I made these. So you get original art, you get all the stats and stuff on it, and then on the back, it's actually a Pokemon card. Same thing with like the Sylveon one. Yeah. I wanted it to have original artwork on there. It's 4 layers. No. The only part that's printed is the stat part. So what I do is I make these custom stat sheets. So they're it's a transparency sheet. So I print those out. Then I have a card that has the artwork, and it's 4 layers. So it'll be the Pokemon card first. That gets attached to the artwork. On top of that goes the stat sheet, and then on top of that goes the hologram. So it's a 4-part card. Like it's pretty solid. Yeah, I mean these are my favorites. So these were my first ones, and I had to refine my process because unfortunately, like this, when I was first doing them, the glue that I was using did this, but I fixed that problem, so I'm not going to have that anymore. Well, I cut them out. Like I literally, I traced it so that way I had a stencil, and then as long as I lined everything up, then I literally like cut it either by a board, like a cutting board, or I use scissors to cut it up, and then I have a tool that rounds all the edges so that way they look curved. Versus like with these are sharp edges. So now all the Pokemon cards have that curved edge, just like a regular Pokemon card would have. I wish I had one that was broken down so you guys could see it. But I mean, my process for that it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's all about figuring it all out. And I wanted to have full art cards. Like when I do these Pokemon ones, I want them to be like this. So that way it's collectible for somebody. They get it and they're like, hold up. Hold on. That's like this. It's not like these cards. Like these cards, when you get them, now these cards are pretty thick. So this card and this card are the same thickness. Okay. So when you get it, you're just like, oh damn, like I still like this card right here, right? but I could get this card that's got this shit on the back. This would be dope. So which one do I get? So that foil with the stats, I think this is a better card to get, and it's got, I mean, it's really well printed out and everything, so it looks really good.
Hang on, I got power trouble.
It's start mode, Sonny. Start mode on.
So that's kind of like taking my ideas for making these cards up a notch.
A while since he was out on the track at this rate. He's not even going to get into the race.
I got it. Oh, good.
So I'm thinking like I might push it and I might do stats on the back of these cards too. Like make them look like the old school comic book ones.
Where's Sonny? He's holding us.
Thank you.
Yeah, just checking, Joshua. Just checking. What's wrong with his car?
Nothing.
But yeah, those are my newest pieces. Like, I mean, the newest ones I did were those Pokemon ones. I think that's it. All the rest of these I've already showcased.
It's on purpose.
What is this guy doing?
This is actually now turning into an advantage.
Look, once you come up with something that works, I mean, you just got to roll with it. So my hope is in like maybe 2 weeks or so, I'm going to start doing a on here on Whatnot. We're going to do like a little grab bag, and we'll do it where people can bid on it. And the grab bag will have one of those cards and maybe some other goodies with it. But definitely where it's going to come out to a value for anybody that picks it up.
And if you ever need confidence in your car, it's here at Silverstone.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work out, but well, I mean, I'm going to try it a couple times, see what's up. I think having a custom Pokemon card, in my opinion, is better than having a regular Pokemon card.
Ace just sailing past people. He's moved up 7 places since the start.
HSGP is really strong.
And the cool part is like if somebody goes like, "Hey, I would love to have one of these Pokemon cards," I can remake any card, like literally any card. Now, of course, I'm not going to print out what somebody else did, but I will make it with my design.
Complaining about his car over the radio. That's not what the team wants to hear.
Copy gap is 0.9 to the right.
Or say, for example, you have a collector that wants to just have a card that looks very similar to one that they have in their collection, but they don't want to, take their good stuff out. Well, then this is a way for them to have something similar.
This is trouble now for Apex GP. The Red Bull's tires are now.
Those only go for 35.
We see the attack. Now it's all about defense. And Perez on the attack into Vale. Hayes is in trouble. This could be the places reversed.
Rearing this loose. Tell me to see a fix.
Yeah, I mean, the next set that I'm going to do, I'm doing the original 3. So I'm going to redo my Pikachu. I have to do Charmander, I think it is. And then I'm going to redo Eevee. And there's another one that I'm going to do. Bulbasaur's, first design. So I'm going to do those. Get those out there. Make them look really good. And then see how those work out.
A 7-second pit stop. Apex GP won't be happy with that. That's double the time it should have taken.
But I really want to put some energy behind a lot of them because I feel like even though those cards are really good, I think I really want to make them less stagnant. So a lot of shape play is going to be required when I make the new set. And I think if I do the Pokemon set next, instead of going to my DC set, which I was thinking about doing, I think the Pokemon one will go a lot faster. So I'll be able to catch up because I'm literally like a month behind on my work. So Nathan, are you going to do my vector class next semester? I mean, not like you need it. When did I teach that class? It might have been in the evenings, because I know that the evenings are your thing because you work during the day. They're trying to roll it over. I'll find out soon enough. I think it was evenings. In fact, actually, let me take a look at my canvas real fast. Let me see something here. Sorry, I got one question. Let me check my canvas here, and I'm gonna check all my past classes because I'll be able to know real fast.
This is mad. The cardinal sin of motor racing. A double
Courses.
couldn't get any worse with a black and gold.
Let me go all over. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go on Workday. It's not in there. Yeah, I'll be able to tell you exactly when I do that. Let's go teaching.
We can't corner. We're bouncing around the place like we're on the bloody tube, and now we think it's cool to leave Wilco.
If that was for
Who even was that?
That was me.
Monday, he worked a 3-hour shift.
You're losing your hearing. What was that?
You want to do this here?
Yeah, I'd love to do this here in front of the team, right? The one that you apparently appalled.
Okay. You made a mistake. It happens.
I made a mistake. I love this guy.
Don't worry about it, Jody.
Are you even listening to me?
No! Stop! Josh is right. An order is an order. May I remind you that you report to me?
Cool. Just don't ask me to give up position. Sorry, guys.
Hold on. Swan into our garage like some entitled prick.
Swan.
Calling us piss poor, and then you drive
What's
like
Swan?
that. Huh?
You said I swan. What's that mean?
You're
Give me
an
1
asshole.
second,
Come on,
guys.
come on, Swan.
Yes.
Swans are assholes.
You're making a mistake for thinking that I'm just going to be some grateful kid who bend the knee to an old timer. I climbed a mountain to get here, bro. Formula One.
Back home, we call that a participation trophy.
Yeah.
What the hell are you smiling
Okay,
at?
perfect. Thank you.
Did you win something? There's 20 other drivers
Somebody
tomorrow on
sent
that
something.
track, and you're in here posing for that nonsense? Do you think any of them respect us? Do you? They need to learn that no one gets past us without a fight. No one. You don't like the way I'm driving? Beat me, Swan.
Hell of a race, huh? Whoa!
Sorry, I didn't see you.
Still beating yourself up?
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that, guys. I had to answer work stuff. Let me see here. Go on Workday. I'm gonna check my teaching for the other semester. Which
You're right. Got it. Hey, for what it's worth, don't be shitty to yourself. There's plenty of people out there to do that for you.
I'm sorry, Ruben, for demolishing not one, but both of your lovely cars, for coming back into your life only to destroy it. Is this your revenge for Monaco?
Yeah, I waited 30 years and came all this way to humiliate myself on global television.
Honey, you think I brought you in to make my other driver quit?
Listen, He's cocky. He's arrogant. He's got a lot to learn.
The vector class that I did last semester was on Mondays from 5:30 to 8 o'clock.
You're a race.
No, you're not. Sonny, you're here to give me a heart attack. The war is at its. I have to decide whether to continue this fiasco or pull the plug now.
You have to leave the sea.
By which time Apex will be worth less than my shoes. Sonny!
We've got Kate. Car. I want to talk to her about the car. She's the world's first female tech director of an F1 team. I mean, that takes balls.
Wow. Is that your line? She'll see right through it.
I'm lying.
I'm sorry.
She married?
Okay, stay there. In that top of ice. Until Budapest. You don't move.
You Ruben? Can't get there with this car.
No. It will be in the fall. So fall, it should be 5:30 to 8. So same time as you got right now, but it's on Mondays. Should work out pretty good. I don't know how much you'll benefit from it because you do this stuff every day. So I don't know. I might show you a few new tricks.
Yeah, sorry, honey. What you working on?
I'm working on a new front wing concept. Trying to pick us up a 10th or so.
Cool. And you can replicate turns, lateral airflow?
No, just straight line drag. I mean, we can kind of...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I get it. I mean, there's so many things and techniques and processes that I use that I try to just hand over to people.
Sorry, is there something I wanted to discuss?
Kate?
There is no one way of doing things. So if you're a multi-trick pony, you can't lose.
So how does one get to be the first female technical director of an F1 team? Let's take dedication, lots of hard work.
That's your urgent question? Plenty of people think I don't belong here. I'm happy to add you to the list if you're implying what I think you're
I
implying.
don't imply stuff.
See, like straight talk.
Straight as an arrow. No sugar.
Everyone thinks Ruben's lost it, but he's clutching at straws. They're saying maybe he lost a bet. Ran over your dog. They're saying Sonny Hayes isn't a has-been. He's a never was.
Yeah, when I said I like straight talk, I meant me. From others, I mostly prefer praise, flattery, hero worship, at times straight up.
Yeah, I mean, there's always tricks. I mean, I learned literally. Let me put it this way: I have been teaching this class so many times, right? Every class that I do it, I tighten up things a lot more. Like I learn better ways to teach things. So yeah, I get you. When I first started out this course, I never even taught how to make that seal. We used to do, I would take the Falcons logo because it was easy just to teach basics, but I found like that was kind of boring for me. So I found no challenge in it. So I can only imagine from a student standpoint, it was just boring as all hell. So I definitely changed that up, and I feel like doing the seal is way better because I still get to do the bird, and you're incorporating the logo for the school, so it makes sense. Now I can tell you this, and you'll know this because for the vector class, you guys actually have to create your own logo in that class. Yeah, I mean, there's so many techniques that are in there. And again, yeah, all of those things it touches upon. Whereas like the Falcons logo, there was no text involved. There were no extra tools other than like the pen tool. think the pen tool, the curvature tool, and tinkering with colors. That's it. I mean, other than that, there's nothing that was really special about it. So that's cool. I mean, those are things that, yeah, you could definitely apply. Like, here's the thing: when I first got into this program, they didn't teach you anything about that stuff. Like nothing. I think practical application makes more sense. Like knowing that you're going to be tasked with creating something like that. Now you know how to do it. And for you, I think it's more beneficial because you're in the trenches. So now something that you encounter, like you might come up tomorrow and be like, oh, this is how I go ahead and create this. Okay, cool. I can knock this out with a quickness. So I only taught two parts to the vector. When on the intro class, I only taught two things. I taught how to do the how to create the Falcon logo. So there was no text involved. And then we did the isometric stuff. Now it's creating that seal, so you get a chance to figure out how the text and stuff works, how to deal with color, and then on the isometric piece, then you're really starting to work with that pen tool and understanding like how to work with a grid and all that kind of good stuff. I mean, next, when I show you guys what you can create when you do isometrics, it's really cool. I'm going to show you guys the kitchen that I made on isometric design. And we made a classroom with isometric illustration too. I think I'm going to make you guys do a house that I use for my vector class, and I'm going to change the house for the vector class and make it a lot harder. Yeah, I mean, you're always trying to make life a little bit easier for yourself, right? It's all about thinking through a problem. For example, like when I create logos, and I don't know if you do this or not, but when I'm creating a logo, I will always usually create the logo with pen and paper because my brain works faster that way instead of me trying to figure out what to do on the computer. So if I can figure out like a blobby shape on a piece of paper and I can get it to a really solid point, all I have to do is utilize, Illustrator to fine tune it. That's it. I'm just putting the pretty on top. That's it. Simple. That's how I did my logo. I drew it out and I was like, oh, I really like this. So now I can go into Illustrator. I can clean up the lines and everything. And now I got a really cool looking piece of artwork. Yeah, and that's the part that's a lost skill. You have to know how to do that because it helps you in the design process. Think about it like when people use all these prompting softwares. Well, the prompting softwares basically do the thumbnail process. They go ahead and they pull things, and then they finally create something that, you know, that spit out, right? But it's pulling from other pieces. So real work would be like their version of a thumbnail. You don't have to be. I mean, I'll tell you from the get go, you don't have to be a great artist to become a great designer. You just have to be creative. You got to build that connection. And you can build that connection through color. You can build it through line work. You can build it through design. But you're building a connection. Who would have thought the logo for Michael Jordan's Nike shoes would have been him just jumping? But it's an iconic piece of design. Somebody literally took a picture of him jumping, silhouetted it, and put it on for the design. And it's been an iconic piece of design for more than 30 years. But I have a game, and we're going to play it next week when we do logos. Can you figure out the logo based upon specific components that are shown to you? For example, if I showed you an outline of the Nike logo, would you know it's the Nike logo? Yeah, you would, because it's a simple shape. Everybody knows those. But there's others that I do that some people don't know. You know, I've shown people like the Starbucks logo, and they can't figure out what it is. All right, I think we're looking good. Yeah, I think it's really cool, and nobody can. And when we do it, nobody's gonna know. Like, I'm gonna take out certain assets from the logos because I've done this before, just because I want to kind of see what people know and what other people don't know. So you have to write it down, and we'll see who wins. You'll be surprised, even with yourself. There's iconic logos that you'll probably not even know. You'll probably know a lot of them, more than most, because again, your profession allows you to have access to that. Oh man, that's like candy, man. You gotta definitely look at that kind of stuff. We'll see where you're at. I'm gonna, like I said, we'll test it and we'll see where you're at. So the weird thing is about like logo design, it's not the same way it used to be. Like, you don't have iconic logos now because we move too fast. We don't appreciate design. Like, I can't really think of any companies, modern companies, that have logos that are like Oh, I can. That's been around for more than 10 plus years. Yeah, I mean, iconic design is hard, but it's mixed with the fact that we don't have a lot of companies that stick around for long periods of time. I mean, think about it. Like Twitter is one of those things that changed because it had new management. It became more of a, I'm not even say boutique. It was more industrial looking, so it fits with the iconography done by, you know, Elon Musk's corporation. So when you look at his Tesla company, it's very mechanical. So it's got that kind of iconography and that branding that he has. So it all fits together. Even when you look at the not Space Force, but SpaceX, same thing. All of that stuff looks the same because it's under all one big umbrella. Yeah, I mean, well, the trend now that's going on is, or sorry, was, and this actually happened for about 2 years. Everything was all gradient based. So take a look at like the HBO Max logo, take a look at the Instagram logo. Everything was all gradient based. Now, um, it's all this like, it's coming more like this rounded, bubbly look. It's a phase of design that was on like iPhones and stuff like that when they first came out. See, the thing about having that logo is it's got to be something that's held up by the company itself. So when you look at Mercedes, Mercedes has really only had like one like major shift in the design of its logo. Oh, into the logo design. Well, I don't know if it's like nostalgia versus like doing tweaks. So if you look at, and I'll bring it back to Mercedes. So Mercedes, when they first came out with their logo, it was a combination of the two people that created Mercedes. One of them was Mercedes, and then you had Benz, right? And I can't remember which one of them, but one of them had a seal, like a family crest that they had in it, and it shifted from that into the iconic seal that we know now. So you know how we have the round circle with the three lines. So if you're not familiar with the history of it, the reason why we have the three lines on the Mercedes seal is because they wanted to conquer three areas of mechanics. So it was by land, by sea, and by air. And that's why you have those three lines in it. So all they've done over the years is that they've refined that logo and made it more of an iconic logo, but it still has that classic, again, going back to your nostalgia look. It's refined that. Let's take a look at the Starbucks logo. If you look back at the old Starbucks logo, it was the mermaid, but it was this because of the time when it was made, it was very rough, it was very rudimentary because of the time period. but it still had that iconic mermaid that we're used to seeing. And then it shifted from this muddy brown mermaid that we saw now to this beautiful green, fun logo. And that logo hasn't changed for many, many years. It's like a stamp now. So no matter where you see it, if you were to see that logo, you will know without any context, like verbal context or typography context, you know it that's Starbucks. But again, that's held up by the quality of the company. You know, Apple is another good example of that. The Apple logo hasn't changed in all the time that it's been around. Like they've changed colors, but the Apple itself has not changed. But it fits what it is. Like it's a staple on. It's a wordplay on a logo, and they've shifted it based upon the times. So when we were first introduced to the Apple logo, it had multiple colors because that's where the time period was. We were going into the age where we were actually getting like colored monitors, and you know, we were really getting into the computer stage, right? Macintoshes were really coming out and all that stuff. And then it shifted into like these multicolors, and then it now is this very not mechanical, I would say more industrial style of logo. Very metallic. They did it on purpose. Yeah, I mean, let me give you a more modern version of it. So have you guys ever seen the Kia logo? Like the original Kia logo? So it was round, had Kia in the middle. Now, as soon as Kia made their jump, so think about when they had the commercials, I'm sorry, when they started going like more eco-friendly over these like last 5-6 years, they moved their logo from more of that to more of a graphic style of logo, which fits the movement of their cars, where their cars were more economical. Like they were like, if you needed a car and you needed to spend less money, this is what you wanted. This is the car that you got. Now you get that economical factor, but you also get a very good looking car. So they wanted to change and they phased it up. And it was smart. Yeah, we don't realize what's going on until afterwards. But a designer will know what's going on. Like when somebody's coming up with a new design, they you'll have a creative director that's fueling what the trend is. What is it? Where are we trying to push this logo? So when I do my classes, there's a part in one of my classes where I have my students do a logo redesign. So they're taking an iconic logo, not one that they made, but an iconic logo, and they have to redesign it, like give it a fresh take. Basically the same thing what a company would do, right? And I had this one student, I'm going to show in one of my classes. I had this one student come up with this epically just dope logo. So what they did, they grabbed the Reese's logo, right? Now traditionally Reese's, we have that it's a font like written. So instead of that, they took out the R in Reese's. So they kept the iconic R. And instead of seeing a Reese's cup from up top, which you can, whenever you see a Reese's cup, you know exactly what it is because of the shape. So they took it, and instead of having it from a top view, they turned it on its side. So now you have the curvature to it. So it kept the angles. You have that kind of like rigid edge to it. And then they stamped it with the R. And they didn't stamp the R in the center. They put it over to the right. So it's almost like a signature. So the person that created this, I literally looked at them and I said, I would buy a shirt of that. And because they had to present it on different mediums, so they had to show it as a sign or they had to pick a t-shirt. And I think there was one other mock-up they did, but we got a chance to see it and I'm like, dude, you thought outside the box with this one. It seems so simple, but it was just so deliberate on every little piece that they did. It was very, very smart. And this person was super quiet in our class, but I had no idea that they had this kind of skill. To this day is probably one of my favorite pieces that I've ever seen done. But that's a new approach. You know, when we look at our logos for even like sports events, that's an even bigger one. You know, I started going like on a deep dive because I follow wrestling and stuff like that. So I'm always like thinking about their characters and stuff like that. But I do a deeper dive more on the advertisement side of things because I really kind of like to understand how they come up with these ideas. So I just went through and I took a look like over the past years on how, you know, what kind of logos they used, even from back in the day. And it was a lot of gold and stuff like that. Because of the time, that's what we use. But nowadays, it's very poppy color. They within this last couple of years, they went to Philadelphia, so everything had this green tint to it. What's going on, Urban? They're going to Vegas again, so the Vegas has like a lot of these like gold, and it has more of like a Sin City style of design to it. Another one, when they went to Tampa, they incorporated like the Pirates kind of scheme because we got the Tampa Bay, you know, Bucks here in Florida. But those are those kind of iconic things that, you know, that somebody was thinking about, and they were thinking outside the box when they came up with those ideas. But these are all concepts that we don't think about when we're not in this world. You know, I love computers and I love technology. I love being able to use that stuff. But even when you're using like these AI systems to help push your stuff a little bit further, AI is not at a point where it can replicate feeling. Right? There's a tangibility to that kind of stuff. And that's why, you know, the human brain works the way it does. You just cannot do that. It's just not at that point. It's going to take some time. And I think if people rely too heavily on that, they're going to lose that ability. That's why I try to teach it as much as humanly possible. That's good. All right, so I'm going to start throwing in some color on this bad boy. Look, I feel like if you get the right people to teach you the right things, you will be a successful artist. I will never like talk bad about the people that started my career, like as far as my desire to do this. However, I didn't really get the full picture of what I was doing until I got out of my program. In my undergrad, once I got out of there, I realized what I was missing. And I told myself that if I go back and I go get my master's and all this kind of good stuff, when I come back, I'm going to teach people the things that I didn't learn. And mind you, when I was coming up, I didn't have to compete against AI. I had to compete against other people. Right? So I really feel like that, because we have to compete against not only other people, now we have to compete against AI systems. That makes things a little bit more, challenging. Do video. There we go. So you do like architecture, that kind of stuff? Yeah, can you just imagine, not knowing how to use a drafting table? Oh, where is my red? That's weird. Oh, I can't see it. That's why. So that's why. See, that's a skill. That's a really cool skill. I think that's a skill in and of itself. Like my dad was an architect. And I think that being able to not only draft out stuff on, a drafting table, it's important for you to be able to do it like physically as well. And learn it all. You don't want to learn just one way. That's stupid. Like Nathan on here, he's got a skill of being able to do design right now, right? But he can always learn more. So if you only stick with one tool, you're going to be stuck. Because that means I can outwork you all day long because I know more than you do. Going the easiest way is not smart. It just means that you know how to do things the easy way. But I'll outwork you because when that tool breaks, you don't have a backup. And that's what I teach my students. Like, you need to know these skills. Yeah, and that's not an easy skill. People don't understand how important it is to know how to do that. I mean, you got to get to a point where you kind of humble yourself and be like, I don't know how to do these things. How do I get better? So you ask questions and you go to the people that know stuff that have more knowledge than you, and you get them to show you how to do it. You know, I had an instructor in college. I knew a lot of stuff. Like I was very well versed, and there were techniques that he showed me. I'm like, what? This is crazy. I get up my game just by holding a pencil a certain way. I was like, wow, this is crazy cool. But I applied all the things that he taught me, and it made me better. And that teacher and we're not too far off in age, but I learned a lot from him. Because I didn't let my ego get in the way. A lot of people do that. I don't have time for that shit. I have to really look at it like this person knows more than me. There's a reason why they're in their spot and I'm not. And I don't compare myself to people anymore. I stopped that crap. Because when I compare myself to people, it slows me down. I now look at it like you have knowledge about certain things. Tell me, teach me, show me how to do what you do. Let's put it this way. I feel that if people keep doing what I think they're going to do, which is they perpetuate the laziness factor, it will take over. I'll give you a case in point. All right. You'll go to Walmart or you'll go to one of these fast food places and they'll have kiosks there. Now, I'm going to give you a comparison. So we're going to go Chick-fil-A and we're going to go Chick-fil-A versus McDonald's. Okay. So the experience that you get at Chick-fil-A, and I'm talking not in the drive-through area, I'm talking about when you physically go into place. The experience that you get when you go to a Chick-fil-A versus going to a McDonald's are 110% different. Okay. So they have an AI system or a kiosk system that they use, and it takes you away from the human experience. Okay. It makes people lazy, and the fact that they want to hire less people to do the job. Okay. Now, when you do that, that means that when you get backed up, you don't have extra people to help you out. So that's a problem there in and of itself. So the system is kind of breaking. When you have those people in there, it creates a different experience for us. Okay. So having AI can kind of hinder us and make us slower and also take away jobs and opportunity and learning. It will definitely make you lazy. And then what's going to happen is people are going to be pissed off because they can't find a job and they let it happen. All right. We let things happen. Like now, when you think about like video games, same thing. In order to get a video game, in most cases, you have to have a subscription. So I have to have a subscription to Nintendo, Xbox. I have to have one to PlayStation in order to get my games. Whereas like 20 years ago, or even 15 years ago, I used to be able to go into a store, go buy it, and I'm good to go. Okay. So not only am I buying the game, but I also have to buy a subscription for the game in order for me to play it. And it's because we let that system grow and now it's become the norm. Because we wanted that convenience factor, but we didn't think about the long-term effects of it. I think if we, the public, address it and we're like, look, we can't do this. If we address it and do that, then it can change. But if you're looking at it from a corporate level, corporate people are like, yeah, I definitely am going to keep these AI systems in place because it makes my life 20 times easier. Yeah, that's an even bigger problem. By allowing all of these things to happen, and even with AI, right? The more AI systems that we put in place, the easier it is for people to start charging us for things. They'll say, "Oh, you know what? Your system won't work unless you go ahead and get this." Well, for example, like on the Adobe products, a lot of their systems, like the things that we used to use, are being replaced by AI systems, which makes our lives a little bit harder because we can't do the things that we want to do the way that we used to do them. If you use them in conjunction, that's different, but that's not the way it's going. They're like, you have to use this or you can't use this at all. And that's a bigger problem. No, you're good. No, you're good. I just think that, if we don't start wising up and we don't educate ourselves about things and we just go into things blindly, then we're going to have a bigger issue than we think. But people don't. This goes to a more fundamental problem. People don't read. They don't take time to read. They take time to watch. What's up, Free? We'll go online and we'll go to YouTube U, or we'll find a video that will walk us through something versus reading it, because reading actually helps you remember things. Read an article and it will stick with you. Watch a video and it doesn't stick with you. And there's proof to that. Think of how many videos that you might have watched on social media. You won't even remember them. If you read a book, you're going to remember the book, or you'll remember the article. So we as a society have to, kind of combat this problem. And I get, it's my soapbox that I will die on this hill. But my whole thing is I want to teach people to read about what's going on. I think, when I was introduced to ChatGPT and introduced to these other AI systems, I was like, man, these things are awesome. I think they're great. But I got to be able to use them with the things that I currently do. I told one of my students when they had to write a paper, I said, listen, you're eventually going to have to write a paper in my class. And they freaked out. And it's because they, one, hadn't written a paper in a long time. And two, they didn't feel like they were a great writer. And I said, listen, I'm not a great writer. And I'm definitely not a great typist. Those are two things that I'm not really good at. However, I've got a great brain. I think about things. I have great concepts, and I'm good at research. So I incorporated the things that I was really good at, and I utilized tools to back me up. So, for example, I wrote out I think it was like a 2,000 word essay just by using the dictation program within Microsoft Word, because I can talk faster than I can type. And I don't want to lose my thought process. So I utilized the tool of the dictation software. It typed it all out. Now, mind you, it wasn't perfect, but it got and captured all of my information, just like somebody that's like a stenographer. It does that same exact thing. So then I spent an hour or two going back through refining what I spoke about. And instead of me spending days upon days to do something, it only took me a few hours to do. But I didn't make the system write my paper for me. I did the work because I wanted it to be my information, my concepts, my thoughts. Now, when we do these things, and I've seen this happen because I saw it happen with a student a couple of semesters ago. Um, they literally let the computer do all the stuff, and I knew that they didn't do it because how do you go from a week ago not knowing how to do something to all of a sudden making stunning work? It doesn't happen. It's not possible. And they couldn't show proof of it. Yeah, I don't like it. I just remember 2 years ago when it was just a blip because I remember hearing about it. Like I remember hearing words, and then all of a sudden, AI, AI, AI. Literally every day that I'm on the news or I see it on social media, it is everywhere. It's inundated in everything. I don't like it either. It drives me nuts. So I sympathize with you on that. I absolutely sympathize with you on that. All right. I'm going to finish up this red, guys, and then I got to get on the road. So I got stuff to do today. All right. He looks good. That is my stopping point. Yeah, people, again, it's all about laziness. Don't go down that road. All right, guys, I will see you later. Nathan, I'll see you a little bit later on today. You guys take care, and I'll see you on the next stream. Have a good one. I'll be up tomorrow, just so you know.